All right, let us now answer this question. It is VCAA 2016, paper 2, question 6. Ken's first caravan had a purchase price of $38,000. After 8 years, the value of the caravan was $16,000. Show that the average depreciation in the value of the caravan per year was $2,750. Can we just make some preliminary remarks here? We have a show that question, which means we need to show the calculation that gets me to this number. But, ever so important, you can't use this number in your calculation, people. This is what people all the time mess up. This number here, you can't use it in your calculation. You need to arrive at this number, okay? That's very, very important. You can't use this number in your calculation. You need to arrive at it. All right, so how can we do that? Well, we know that the purchase price was $38,000. $38,000. I then would subtract $16,000 because that's the cost of it after 8 years. So that means the total amount of money that I have lost after 8 years is $22,000. That's how much money I have lost over the 8 years. If I now want to figure out the average depreciation per year, what I would do is I would take how much I've lost over the 8 years and divide it by 8. And that's going to leave me with $2,750. Do you see how I arrived at that? I didn't use this as a part of my calculations. I arrived at it. The way that you would get your mark for this question is by showing specifically that information right there, what I've circled there. The fact that you're subtracting your beginning to your end after 8 years, and then you're dividing it by 8. That's where you're getting the mark. Now, this question was very poorly answered. Let's now look at our examiner's report. Here it is. 39% of the state were able to successfully answer this. Now, this was back in 2016, so presumably people have become a lot better at answering these questions. But nevertheless, it shows that people do struggle with these show that questions. This is what your working should have looked like, and that is what we showed. We didn't show it exactly that way, but you notice how those two elements we showed. We subtracted, and then we divided the result by 8. So we would have gotten the mark. Let's now carefully read what they have written here. A show that question gives the answer to a basic and appropriate calculation, and students must write that calculation. The given number in a show that question is sometimes needed in a following question. With this number, students can attempt the following question even if they cannot complete the show that question. All right, can we just stop there for a moment because that sounds like gobbledygook. What they're saying is, let's just say for whatever reason, you were unable to figure out that the answer was 2,750. Well, you can still answer the next question. That's why they use show that question. So you can still take this and use it in the next one. Because otherwise, if you couldn't get that, then you can't do the rest of this. That's why they do show that question. So you can just take that and use it in different parts. So that's what they're saying there. Let's keep on reading. Let's get my highlighter out. The given number in a show that question is not to be used in a calculation. It must be the result of a calculation. The following calculations use the 2,750 to show a different result than what is required and were not acceptable for this question. So as you can see here, these are inappropriate ways of showing they're working. And do you see how they're using the given number in it? You can't do that, people. You cannot do it. All right. Hopefully that made sense of part A. I actually might stop here for a moment, catch my breath, and go on to part B.